grab my tools. Moving on down to forms. 4, 5, and well, 4 and 5 for now. And then I'll be able to remove the bungees. Everything will relax. Alright, so now we tie our figure 8 nut behind, twist, and whoops, didn't twist enough times. Twist twice. Once is granny knot, twice is your figure 8. Cut off your tail. Don't need that much. Alright, loop around your cord and then you tie the overhand nut. Overhand nut. Boom. And then you stretch. Oops. Like that. Okay. So I have positioned this form. I know it's not lining up with the lines. Don't worry about those. Pull tight and wrap. Now see, this one is fairly thick. This is where you could, if you wanted to, use a lashing hole instead of going all the way through the frame. The reason why this one's thicker is because this is where the back of the coaming is going to go, and this is where you are going to sit to get into these kayaks. So this one has to be a little thicker for extra structural integrity. Another kayak that I built, two of the other kayaks I built actually have a bar that goes in the middle of this to reinforce it, which I think is pretty good, but then it also you can't really reach behind you to get anything if you put anything behind you when you're kayaking. So, I mean, it's just a structural choice. And of course, the hole on that kayak, those other two kayaks was bigger as well. So, I mean, there was more space here in general. All right, we are on the last one here. It looks like too sharp. That's fine. It's not. Alrighty, and so let out some slack. And grab your screwdriver. Sorry, get out of here. Light here. Slip it behind. Being careful not to fray your cord. There you go. And then we'll go down and through. One. I find that it's a little difficult or get snagged on something. Just slip it back through. Straighten it out. The wax will help it form like its little needle point. So you can just slide it down on in there, nice and easy like. And just pull tight. That was 3, and we're going to do one more. Number 4 here. And then we will 1, 2, 3. You can do this more times, but the more times you do it, the harder it's going to be to pull tight like this. And you could end up friction damaging your cord, your lashing. And it's just not good. It could end up snapping. You'll just have to relash it. No big deal, but you know, just a minor setback. So just be careful. Twist twice for the figure 8. Otherwise it'll be an overhand granny knot and it will slip right on off if it does ever start to unwind. And then snip the tail. I'm done. And I'm going to turn around to the other one. Again, ignore the lines. I have already gone back over here and fixed it, so it should be good. I'm trying to get a very weird tripod. A flimsy tripod. Don't like it. Alright, on to the other side. Nail on this side, thank goodness. So we're going to check this again, make sure that it is level. Like I said, don't mind these lines. Those lines were created earlier. That's perfect. That's perfect. Alrighty, let's tie it off. So, once again, figure 8. Go behind, twist, twist, and right on through. Try to twist this to show you. It's not going to do it. That was a figure 8. I know it didn't look like one. If you even saw it, cut off the tail. And, you know, if you do wonder, it's like, oh, did I do that properly? Well, if you know how to tie one, you should know, just by the maneuver. But you'll find out right here whether or not we tied a figure 8. Because when you tie your overhand knot, and you go to slide it down. If that's not a proper stopper knot, it's stopped. There's still a fair amount of tension on there. It's stopped. If that wasn't a proper figure 8, I would have slid right off. Alright, here we go. Tight, checking that, making sure it isn't sliding off. Really tight figure 8. There is another term for that, but I'm not going to use it. Specific type of knot. Maybe they should change the name to Inuit knot, but that's not what it's called. Anywho, just thread that through like so. Keep the tension on there, make sure it's taut, make sure it stays in place while you're lashing. Doesn't jiggle all around. You can too, you know, come back and knock these into place for a slight adjustment, but I highly recommend against doing that. That should be good to go. As you're lashing it in place. Otherwise, you know, if you're sitting there hitting it, knocking it around, you're decreasing the structural integrity of the frame, because the cord, everything is going to be biting into the wood, tearing it up. And one of the things, the way I do this is I've pre-oiled everything, so like, you know, everything's already conditioned the way it needs to be. I don't have to come back and finish anything or put a finish on anything because it's already finished. So any rubbing against the wood is going to deplete and affect the structural integrity of the finish as well. So, we go one, I lost count, so we're gonna go, I think that was 3, so that's okay. And last one here. Alright, 1, 2, and 3. Alrighty, and so we got a figure 8 twist and twist and through. And there we go. Alright, we got 2 more to go. You can get all kinds of angles on this. Figure 8. You know, if it does help you, feel free to talk to yourself while you do this. I mean, I know there's been a couple of times when I'm lashing things together and I'm like, oh crap, I totally forgot that step. Because I just got in the flow of everything, and you know. So, figure 8. And pull tight all the way down to the stopper knot. Slide it back a little bit so it lines up there. Pull tight and wrap around. On that side, come over. Squish that a little bit. Up and going down and through. There we go. You do kind of want to get those all cinched together in line when you're wrapping. You know, don't wrap over anything. And you do want to kind of go over, under. No crisscrossing, because you need that space right here in the back. See how it's going like that? You don't want it to X, otherwise when you cinch it together it's going to tighten everything up really good. If you have it crisscrossing, well, it's not going to tighten anything up really good. It's just going to close it off, but it'll be a little loose. You don't want that. You want it to be fairly tight, but you know, not tight up where it's just destroying the wood. Alright, last wrap around. short this time as well. No worries. Push it through. I'm just going to pull that tight. Give us some more cord. That's number 3. Number 4. And there we go. 1, 2, 3, and pull. Get the screwdriver out of there. Get that nice and tight. And then we got our 1 and 2. Pull that through. Oh yeah, there's a song for you if you remember how to tie a figure 8. 1, 2, go through. Now just twist twice. So, twist, 2. And pull that through. And then you grab that right there and it'll slide right around the knot, kind of putting it like in a chokehold. See? And then you can literally pinch the knot and pull it tight, bam, and it won't slide off. And you can easily cinch it down. Alrighty, one more time. Turn this ship around. Oh, just kidding. Oh no, I can't move the bungee cords yet. I gotta slide the chines in through there. Alrighty. Oh, back. I'll show you this knot without the gloves on. See if it helps. So, I'll show you up here. Okay, so you're gonna make a loop. That, okay. This goes behind, and then we twist twice. Okay. Now, if this goes behind, then it goes forward and through. Boom. Then cut off the tail. Extra slack right there. Okay. And tie an overhand knot. Overhand knot. And now we pull. Bam. Now I need to make sure this is level before I go ahead and tie this on. All right. Do that real tight. Not real tight, just tight. Sorry, it's very cramped in here with that camera right there. Right under. Let's move that over a bit. Those close, nice and close together. That does help if you have fingernails. Or if you don't, you can use like a bent piece of wood, plastic putty knife, something. And you can use your finger too. Just push a little harder. Alrighty. Last loop right here. Again, get that in there. Give it a nice little tug to pull everything together. And last loop here. Alright, and then you can just hold it off with your thumb right there so it doesn't loosen back up. And you move it up to the top. Hold it off right there. Cut it. Again, making sure that you have enough so that you can effectively tie this off. I'm going to slide the screwdriver down in there one last time. And then down in there. One. And be careful you don't wrap your screwdriver up in this. I've done that a couple times. You know, if you go on this side and you're, oh no. Try to do it on the inside of the screwdriver, inside the frame. And the frame is this part. This is your form, this is your frame. The wood stringers is your frame. The pieces of plywood that are all fancy looking that you cut out, that is your form. And it is, we're going to call that one 2. Go in 4. 1, 2, 3, and 4. And there we go. Alright, so there we go. Figure 8. Now we're going over the top here, right? That tail doesn't matter. Over the top, stick your finger in there. 1 twist, 2 twist. Now this part that went over the top goes down, under, and through. You don't pull this tight immediately because this has got to go down here up against this. And you kind of pull that tight and bam. Now you can take your finger, this, you're going to pull this out of here, but you want to be pushing the tip of your finger up in here, up against that stopper point, and pull. Don't do it too fast, and you will burn a hole right there in your finger. And yes, you will, I've done it. So that's your stopper knot. You don't need another one, but I like to put another one in. So here we go. Over the top, stick your finger through. Granny knot, figure 8. Down and through. Okay. I'll show you that again. Okay. Over the top, pinch right there. Granny knot, figure 8. That, go through, underneath, all the way through. Okay. And again, don't pull it tight all the way. This one, you can pull like this, and if you do it right, it'll actually choke that knot right there, which is what you want it to do. Oops. Just slipped off. If it slips off the knot, you can literally just feed that back through, give it a little bit of slack, and try again. And that's what you want. See how it's kind of choking that knot? And push it back over. And, well, I think it just came off. That's it. That's okay. We'll put another one in. Twist. Twice. Do it this way. There you go. Not choking knot. See how it's choking the knot? Well, that knot's got to go through it, unfortunately. But basically what I'm doing, just pinching it with my fingers and feeding it up in. Now there's 3 knots there, so that Oh yay, it came through. Well, that's got a double figure 8 and a figure 8. That's definitely not coming back off. Alright, so now I'm going to lash on the stern and the keel. And yeah, I will show you guys how to do that. Concept is the same. It's just at a different angle. Alright. Figure 8. You know, if it does help you, feel free to talk to yourself while you do this. Because I mean, I know there's been a couple of times when I'm lashing things together and I'm like, oh crap, I totally forgot that step. Because I just got in the flow of everything and, you know. So, figure 8. And you pull tight all the way down to the stopper knot. Slide it back a little bit so it lines up better. There we go. Dun, 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 dun. Pull tight and wrap around. Wrap around that side. Come up and over. Just try to scooch that over a bit. And up, whoop. Up and going down through. Here we go. You do kind of want to get those all cinched together in line when you're wrapping. You know, don't wrap over anything. And you do want to kind of go over, under, no crisscrossing, because you need that space right here in the back. See how it's going like that? You don't want it to X, otherwise when you cinch it together it's going to tighten everything up really good. If you have it crisscrossing, well, it's not going to tighten anything up really good. It's just going to close it off, but it'll be a little loose. You don't want that. You want it to be fairly tight, but you know, not tight enough where it's just destroying your wood. Alright, last wrap around. Ta-da! Alright, and down and through. Let's put that through. One. Cut that one a little short this time as well. No worries. Push it through. We're just gonna pull that tight. Give us some more cord. Whoop. Pull that through. That's number 3. Number 4. And there we go. 1, 2, 3, and pull. Screwdriver out of there. Pull that nice and tight. And then we got our 1, 2. Pull that through. Hey, yeah, there's a song for you if you need to remember how to tie a figure 8. 1, 2, pull it through. Now just twist twice. Man. So, finger, twist, doop. And pull that through. What I need, you grab that right there and it'll slide right around the knot, kind of putting it like in a chokehold. See? And then you can literally pinch the knot and pull it tight. Bam! And it won't slide off. You can easily cinch it down. Get that glove back. I'll show you this knot without the gloves on. See if it helps. So, well, let's show you it up here. Okay, so you're gonna make a loop back. Okay, this goes behind, and then you twist twice. Okay, now if this goes behind, then it goes forward and through. Boom. Then cut off the tail. A little extra slack right there. Okay. And you tie an overhand knot. Overhand knot. And now you pull. Bam. Now I need to make sure this is level before I go ahead and tie this on. All right. Pull that real tight. Not real tight, just, tight. Sorry, it's very cramped in here with that camera right there. Alright, there we go under. Let's move that over a bit. Push those nice and close together. That does help if you have fingernails, but if you don't, you can use like a little blunt piece of wood, plastic putty knife, something. You can use your finger too. Just push a little harder. Alrighty. Last loop right here. Again, get that in there. Give it a nice little tug to pull everything together. And last loop here. Alright. Alright, and then you can just hold it off with your thumb right there so it doesn't loosen. I'm going to move it up to the top. Hold it off right there. Cut it. Again, making sure that you have enough so that you can effectively tie this off. I'm going to slide the screwdriver down in there one last time. And then go ahead and down in there. One. And be careful you don't wrap your screwdriver up in this. I've done that a couple times. If you go on this side and you're like, oh no. Try to do it on the inside of the screwdriver, inside to the frame. And the frame is this part. This is your form, this is your frame. The wood stringers is your frame. Pieces of plywood that are all fancy looking that you cut out, that is your form. And that is, yeah, we're going to call that one 2. That's 3. Alrighty, there we go. And 4. 1.